All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the true power with General Sarasun Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. It's going down, family. We talking about October Sunday. Matter of fact, next Sunday is going down. We talking about Halloween, the holy day from hell, and that's all it is. We're gonna be going into a deep occult masterpiece that you just not gonna want to miss. And you already know we warming up. And so the link right there in the video description is in the chat. I want you to click it. I want you to be front row and center. Get the family, get them in front of that TV screen, get them in front of whatever you got it hooked up to, and get them there. And we're gonna drop some information that's gonna blow their mind. That's right. Ring the alarm. We talking about King. Well, matter of fact, let's not jump over. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarasun Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all already know what it is. Black Power, Black Frequency. If you're feeling that frequency and energy, you should most definitely join. Link right down in the video description. It's in the chat. Click it. You'll get a video introduction rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarasun Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. We got some fly presentations dropping today. Scandalous word origins, defiling our vocabulary to this very day. We also got Frigga, the witch goddess of Friday. Who the hell are we summoning? I want you there, family. I'm gonna blow your mind. We're gonna have to get you back together, but it's gonna be some heavy information. Don't you dare miss it. For my YouTube members, the top 2 tiers, SETI Super Soldier, BPC Boss, I want you in the house, family. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarasun Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family right now on deck. We got the Moringa Detox. We got natural men's tonic for vitality and vigor, extra strength. Family, we got it for you. Soursop bitters. We got some Egyptian musk soap. Man, listen here. We got something for you. I want you to get right on over there, kingseti.com. Click that link and go enjoy yourself today. That's right. Pour the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University. We talking about over 2,500 videos, all the subject that you know and love from the general. There's not another website on the planet that can even compare or compete just on the strength of you got the sage of the age. And I'm going to drop heavy mental today. You see what I'm saying? Just to show you exactly why I am the sage of the age. And so most definitely, family, get over there. All the subjects that you know and love from the general, Too Raw for YouTube, Making of the White Man, Holiday, Holocaust, and just so many more. Ancient Egypt, Ethiopia, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Black Woman is God, occult, alchemy, Black power, politics, and economics, and so much more. Don't you hesitate to become a member today. And everybody knows SETI popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never come. Yes, we got a line up today. Been doing a lot of research, but we dropping why do Europeans celebrate their most sacred holidays in the dead of winter is a very serious reason for that. Also, our African people still possessed by the spirits of their slave masters. Got to ask that very serious question. The thin veil of October escape from the other world going down on Patreon today. Don't you hesitate to be over there today. Don't you hesitate. And that's right. And to all the family out there, donate to the general. I thank you. I appreciate the fact you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate. Link right there on the screen, in the chat, in the video description. Click it, donate. I thank you ahead of time. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Nah, I wasn't even, I just happened to be looking for, some some hot topics on the internet, and and this popped up. I missed the initial uproar about some things that Umar Johnson said about Islam that caused a lot of Muslims to be up in arms, and I felt being it is a strong one of my strong topics that I would tap right on into that, and everything that he said was 100% correct. Is no doubt about it. It was 100% correct. And but what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a lot of Muslims who still in the prison of Islam that's gonna run and tell you about all the things, all the revolutionary Muslims and this, that, and the third, and niggas is still in the same predicament they've been in with the revolutionary Muslim without the revolutionary Muslim. Okay. Now and we're gonna play some things, but I'm gonna just start firing off what these revolutionary Muslims need to do. And all these all these Muslims, and I'm talking about to the nigger Muslims, because the Arab or any other kind of Muslim, they don't even count. Real talk, they don't even count. So I wouldn't even address them. But I brought one up here on a short that I wanted address, because I'm gonna cancel his ass real quick. But they always want to bring up these so-called revolutionary Muslims. One brother did a whole video. I watched it where he showed, all these, certain revolutionary Muslims whose message was so, revolutionary that it caused whole governments, to ban them from coming into the country and so on and so forth. And so, what I would say to this, to that is this. Africa is under certain, and they act like they don't see it. You see, they act like they don't see it, but you have a lot of pillaging of Africa, and by Islam, from Timbuktu all up through there, Nigeria, all up through Mali and the Senegambia, all up through there, all in with the Sahel. You got ISIL and you got Al Qaeda, then set up camp all through Africa, and they intend through terroristic means to bring the whole of Africa under the control of radical Islam. You see, now so what's happening is, number one, let's be clear about something. Because if I'm gonna speak about it, I'm gonna be direct. Number one, I don't give a goddamn what nation adopted Islam by whatever means. Some say where they adopted it, of their own free will. And then you got some who say, that it was brought by the sword. And the majority of it in its initial process was brought to Africa and African people and the rest of the world by the sword. That's how it was brought to African people. But today, because some have co-opted this religion, and and they have saturated their minds and their spirits in it for hundreds, if not thousands of years in certain areas, that they find it's called the Stockholm syndrome, where you take up for those who have pillaged and plundered Africa. Africa does not belong to Arabia. Okay, Africa does not belong to the Arab. And Africa created religion and spirituality, so it's a fucking hypocrisy for people to act like African people cannot connect with the cosmos, without Islam. We got to be clear about that. You see, and so they trying to find a way to legitimize Islam. And so, even in the Bible, it speaks about, the foundation of your structure. When you begin to build, and your spiritual temple, your physical and your mental temple, the foundation on which you build it on. And it's no different than America. When you go to the beginning of America, bloodshed. You took, you raped, you robbed. It's not yours. No matter how much you think you're doing for people, how many biscuits you hand out, 400 years later, the land don't belong to you. You see, and it's no different with it than with Islam. You see, but where's all these radical Muslims over there fighting to free Africa of this radical Islam that's seeking to set up all these home bases in the heart of Africa, and kidnapping. You got Boko Haram, you got all these other that has aligned themselves with the Pale Arab. You understand? They didn't align themselves with the pale Arab, and they plunder Africa, committing all type of terroristic attacks. And so, nigga, we don't need you to come on here and respond and tell us about no history of Islam or this, that, and the third. We know the history of Islam. Okay? We know the history of Islam. And so the central thing is, I'm gonna play some of these and then I'm gonna, cause I'm starting to warm up, and I ain't even played the damn videos yet. But first I'm gonna play Umar, and I'm gonna listen to him, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna play this Pale Arab who made, and I'm gonna chop his ass up and go on and put him in the fireplace. You feel me? I'm gonna go on and put him on in the fireplace where he belongs. All right, family, let's do this.
The Arab to worship God. Why do I got to dress like the Arab to worship God?
Okay.
I was raised in one of those mosques, you understand? Mm-hmm. But I had to walk away because I saw how we completely ignored black people's problems. We completely ignored black culture. We completely ignored the black reality. It was all Islam. Learn your Arabic. And I'm like, I'm a practicing Arab. Mm-hmm. I'm not practicing Islam. I'm practicing Arabism. Why do I got to learn Arab language to worship God? Why do I got to eat like the Arab to worship God? Why do I got to dress like the Arab to worship God? This is not the worship of God. This is the deification of Arabic culture. Mm. And that's why I walked away from it. And now African spirituality is my foundation.
Yeah. Now listen to this one.
Muslims out there, of course there are.
Okay, listen to this motherfucker.
Practicing Arab.
And you could tell he been his forehead and been on that rug. You could tell when they been goddamn dragging their forehead on that rug for a long time. Motherfucker got rug burns on their forehead. You see, you need to figure out another way to pray. You understand what I'm saying? You done goddamn rub, you niggas out there the same way, then rub your melanin out your damn forehead, scrubbing the goddamn flow all day, praying to an alien deity. Wait a minute, let me get this out of here. Yeah. All right, listen to this.
It was all Islam. Learn your Arabic. And I'm like, I'm a practicing Arab. Mm-hmm. I'm not practicing Islam. I'm practicing Arabism. Why do I got to learn Arab language to worship God? Why do I got to eat like the Arab to worship God? Why do I got to dress like the Arab to worship God? This is not the worship of God. This is the deification of Arabic culture. Mm. And that's why I walked away from it.
You don't need to be Arab to be a Muslim. Most of the Muslims out there in the world are non-Arabs. You don't need to look like an Arab. You don't need to dress like an Arab. You don't need to eat like an Arab. You need to learn some Arabic in order to.
Nah, wait a minute. First and foremost, let's start chopping. Now, the first thing he say, you don't need to eat like an Arab. You don't need to talk like an Arab. You don't need to, let's listen to this. He's saying you don't need to do all this. Well, goddamn it, if I don't need to eat like one, I don't need to talk like one, I don't have to. But see, that's slick. That's slick. Now I'm gonna tell you, they trying to slick talk you. But I'm gonna go upside his head in just 2 seconds. But I'm gonna bring this back up. I'm gonna bring it back up. Hold on, because he telling you all the things that you don't need to do. Listen to him.
the Arab to worship God. This is not the worship of God. This is the deification of Arabic culture. And that's why I walked away from it.
You don't need to be Arab to be a Muslim.
You don't
Most
need
of
to
the
be
Muslims
Arab to
out
be
there
a
in the world are
Muslim.
non-Arabs. You don't need to look like an Arab. You don't need to dress like an Arab. You don't need to eat like an Arab. You need to learn some Arabic in order to pray your 5 daily prayers. But outside of that, you can call upon Allah in the English language. Many of the companions around the Prophet.
Nah, let's go on into that. See, the first thing, and they telling you, if you don't need to do all of that, you don't even need to fuck with Arab any goddamn way. You can cut it all the way out. No, fuck you mean? I ain't got to eat like one. You just got to know a little Arabic. You see, but the thing is, they don't tell you when you say your goddamn prayers, you got to look to Mecca. See, that's your central, that's your point of orientation. You see, that's very critical. Your point of orientation is to Mecca. Okay? Your point of orientation is to Mecca. And so, you got to turn, and you can't just pray anyway. You got to look towards Mecca. When you go into any mosque, they got, I forget what they call this area, but they all be in front of it, and that's supposed to be pointed towards Mecca, and that's where they pray. So Mecca is your point of origin. So you gonna look over Africa. You gonna look over Africa, the holiest land on the planet. The holiest land, the first holy land on the planet, and you gonna look to see that's slick. They ain't telling you this though. Okay. And so you gonna look over Africa, the holiest land, the land of your origin, and you gonna look to a land that's not of your origin, whether you colonized it or not. I don't give a goddamn. That's not the land of our origin. Okay, let's deal with that. Yes, that's a part of Africa in a sense, because we were the first people to colonize it, but we talking about Islam. We fuck the hypotheticals and all that. We talking about during the age of Islam. Okay, and so you gonna look over the motherland to Mecca, and you gonna pray in a goddamn language that's not of your origin. And I'm just gonna be serious about it. I know we try to use hypotheticals, and no, okay, was nobody speaking Arabic on the continent of Africa until the goddamn coming of the Arab. Okay, nobody was speaking no damn Arabic. It was no Arabic in Egypt, wasn't no Arabic in Nubia, wasn't no Arabic in none of that until the coming of the Arab. Now, whether there was some black ones in there, yeah, of course, it might have been at that time, because it was some confused niggas at that time. But even when you open up the book, and when you open up the story of Islam, the first black in the damn religion, Bilal, he's already a slave. Okay, they've colonized what today they call Arabia. They have committed atrocities on the Ethiopians who were in control of that area, you understand, previous to the Arab. And so when the book opened up, Bilal is a slave. Then his other prophet, Prophet Muhammad, he had adopted another African son. His name was I forget his name. Ben Zayed, something, he had adopted another Ethiopian son too, and took the man's wife. I say, what could Dr. Ben taught on it? Took the man's wife. This is Muhammad. You see what I'm saying? So, we got to quit playing games with these religions. None of these niggas that claim to be so-called revolutionary Muslims is over there dealing with them radical Islam niggas and pale Arabs that's over there pillaging, trying to colonize Africa and take over. Okay? Nobody's over there trying to do nothing to change that fact. So they'll never bring that up. You know, they don't never bring those facts up of what's happening in Africa. And then when you come over here and goddamn you know, and of course, you know, everybody got their own you know, their own understanding about this. But look at how the goddamn Arab come over here and colonize the economy in your goddamn community. Look at that. You know, all the damn liquor stores and all the goddamn gas stations that they own over there, own in Black America. See, and they doing no different in Africa. They just doing it on a bigger level. Okay, nobody talking about that war in the Sudan. Nobody talking about that. That's a proxy war between Egypt and Libya and shit like that. Who you think funding them? Okay, who you think funding them? What they call them they used to call them the Janjaweed. Now they want to rename them something. You know, back in the early 2000s, they was committing all type of atrocities in southern Sudan. Now they didn't rename, but that's Libya backing them. You see, that's Libya. Okay, people ain't talking about that. Gaddafi backing them. Okay, then you got the Sudanese government. You got Egypt, the government of Egypt. That's backing the government of Sudan, putting money, because you got to understand how these Arab nations so wealthy. When you start looking up the most wealthy nations in Africa, it's the Arab nations. How are they so much richer than the southern nations who got more resources? Because the pale Arab is paying these wannabe nigger Muslims, Janjaweed and all of that, to pillage and take over mineral resources, lands and mines and mineral resources, and then they are taking those resources to these northern Arab countries. That's exactly what they are doing. And so, yeah, we know what y'all doing. You see why niggas is over there praying, talking about, yeah, they over there digging down in the damn soil. You see, digging down in the soil, stealing resources, and they trying to oh yeah, and we talking about the Ethiopian situation with Egypt too. We'll talk about that a little later, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. They want to attack Ethiopia over the fact that they built a dam, and so that, you know, which they entitled to do. But it shows you that Ethiopia, being at the source of the Nile, always had a geographical a political power move that they could play on the nations of the lower Nile, and always showing you where the source of a lot of Egypt came from was up the river, because at no time could any of those nations go against the nations of Upper Nile, because they could always cut that water off. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they fear today. That's what they fear today. But to all these Muslims out here talking this crazy shit, talking about you don't have to do, well, if you ain't got to look like an Arab, you ain't got to, goddamn it, you ain't got to pray to Mecca, you ain't got to do none of that. You ain't got to talk Arabic, you ain't got to do none of that. You can cut it all off. Because the reality is Africa is the beginning of all religion, all spirituality on this planet, and going to some outsiders is far beneath the dignity and even the sacred mission that the cosmos has given to us, to be the primordial and the premier representative of spirituality on the planet. Why would we go to a pale Arab who just picked his knuckles up off the goddamn ground just 2 days ago, and then when we peek around the corner, he let him back down anyway, still dragging his knuckles on the ground? We cannot do this. We got to do better and far better. We got to do far better than this. So yes, it's been past time, not just Islam, but all these religions from the foreigner and all the contaminated African religions that have lost and left their spiritual base that the ancestors then laid down thousands of years ago. So family, we just getting started tonight, and to all the peoples out there, please, they don't fuck with me when it comes day, because I start opening up on Islam, and goddamn it, they'll be calling goddamn Google trying to get me up off of their ass. You see what I'm saying? They know how I get on their ass. Straight up. They'll start calling Google like, please, could y'all do something with this nigga, because he didn't win jihad on our ass. All right, family, this is General Sarasun Seti. We just getting started tonight. Arm yourself, some of them links up, support the general, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation, Black power.